Let's bring in Natey Adjei now, CFL veteran, former Eskimo, Argo, and for a time a Montreal Alouette. How you doing, Natey? Happy Friday.
I'm doing fantastic. I just want to say happy belated birthday, Rod.
Thank you very much. I survived another one, Natey. Thank you. Hey, listen, I don't know. Listen, congratulations to you, by the way, to being added to the Raptors broadcast, too. That's the thing that's burning in my mind the most right now. What is going on there? Kudos, my man. Huh? What's going on?
Man, I've been really fortunate and blessed that the people higher up think I'm qualified enough to do these great jobs. Honestly, I couldn't imagine. Obviously, leaving football, I always thought I'm a sports guy. I like all sports, especially football, baseball, basketball. It'd be really cool to cover some of these sports, go to these events, talk about these events, because all day long with all my friends, all I do is talk about sports, right? So to get the opportunity to be at the events and broadcasting and talking about things that I'm seeing and things that I can relate to from a professional standpoint has been really cool. And I know in my head, I know we all watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I was always enamored with Ahmad Rashad. I'm like, this guy, used to play football. Now he's hanging around the basketball course, best friends with the greatest player of all time. I'm like, I want his job. Like that's my guy. So I'm kind of putting my footsteps down and trying to live that a little bit. So that's what I see, Rod.
I am extremely proud of you. I've watched this from the start, and I do watch TSN Sports Center down here in South Florida every day. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on there even more, and you do deserve it. Now, to the football talk, our poll question today is: does the CFL need to make any changes for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center? And the majority of people saying no, it does not. I don't know if you saw the commissioner saying they're going to look at changes to the game. What would you answer to that? And if yes, what would it be?
So interesting. So I was doing the Grey Cup, and he ended up coming into our booth, the radio booth, to talk about some of the changes that they were thinking about making. And when he was asked the question about going to four downs, and the report had come out from Dave Naylor, he said, you know what, we're looking at everything. We're looking at everything on ways to grow the game and make the game more attractive to more viewers, younger viewers. And I looked at that and I thought, okay, I appreciate that they're doing that. They're trying to make the game more attractive, because that's the big thing, right? We want more eyeballs watching the CFL, attract younger viewers, bringing more betting so more people are locked into these games, right? But I'm not sure four downs is the way to go. I mean, that's the fabric of the CFL. That's what makes the CFL great. I don't think the downs is the reason why people aren't watching. There's numerous other reasons why people aren't watching the CFL football. And I always think about this. So the CFL is closer to the NFL than the MLS is to like English Premier League football, right? Soccer, and that they call it in overseas. Why isn't the CFL as popular as the MLS is, right? So they've got to figure out why the younger generation isn't gravitating towards football the way they should be, because the talent level, like we both know, Rod, the talent level is really closer to the highest level of football than the MLS has to English Premier League. So they need to figure that out. But like tinkering with the downs and alienating fans that have been following the league for a long time is probably not the way to go. You want to try to include everyone in this next step that you're taking. And I think the two downs is too drastic of a change, and you may lose too many people towards the goal that you're trying to get to.
They're going to do what they're going to do, but I'm going to tell you what I think. The game is fine. I've said it for years. This is no position that I'm taking here, no new position. The CFL game is fine. It's why we love it. It's what you and I are doing right now that needs more hype. I'm going to be going to the Orange Bowl. There will be 85,000 people at it, Nate. And it's Georgia, Michigan, as you know, $500 a ticket to start in the nosebleeds. You turn on Sports Talk Radio down here, 90% is college football. They've got the NFL, obviously, NBA and NHL. They don't talk about it. It's all college. That's what they need to do, is getting their people out and get talking about it, but they want to keep it a secret in the offseason. So I'm done with it. Why they think they need to fiddle with the actual on-field product, I have no idea. Now, moving on, you covered the Argos all year, broadcast their games. were you surprised they did not get to the Grey Cup? Take me into that East Final weekend, if you don't mind. The craziness with Macbeth, and they had the lead at halftime and blew it. And then the fracas after the game. My God, Natey, tell me it all.
Yeah, a lot went on with that East Final weekend. And obviously, you talked about it. It started with, Macbeth going to the Raptors game. But, for him, he was asked to go, right? So, and, we thought society had moved on with, what the protocols is, because a lot of those rules that were made in the CFL was made before people had vaccine passports, and we were getting large gatherings again. So I mean, the fact that he was at the game was no problem to me. Everybody that was at the game needed to be vaccinated, and so he was probably safer at that game than being on a football field, because we know there are some players that aren't vaccinated, right? So that was no problem with me. It was made into a bigger deal because it was the eve of a East Final, but that the game was what really got to me, because the Argos really controlled that game, and they had a 12-0 lead at 3 possessions into the red zone, only came away with 9 points, right? So that was the big issue right there. Obviously, Jagir Davis makes an unbelievable play on Foster in the back of the end zone, where it's just, those are the kind of plays that you need if you're going to win a playoff game. And if you go into the red zone 3 times and you only come away with 9 points, and you're kind of doing it to yourself, right? So, obviously, Hamilton is able to get that big punt return by Poppy White that really springboards them, because you saw once that happened, their whole bench was alive. The crowd, they were really quiet. They were dead. They were ready to leave. They came alive. The coaches started getting more aggressive, and obviously they had pulled Dane Masoli right before that. But in my opinion, I thought any quarterback that was in there probably would have been able to get the job done, just because of the way the crowd and the players were feeding into the momentum. Once they got the momentum train rolling, it was almost over. And Hamilton is a team that feeds off of momentum, feeds off of big plays. Like you saw in the Montreal game, once they started getting turnovers, it was all downhill for Montreal. So it played up to their MO. And then after the game, I mean, it was madness. And I saw, like, I was in the booth, but I just seen police officers running over to the Argos where their dressing room was. I had no idea what was going on because we were shielded. But then to see the scenes and the photos after the game, it's a terrible look. Not for the league really, but you should never have fans running onto area where players are going to be, especially after a loss. Like, nothing good is going to happen after that. And obviously, things that happened with our GM Murphy is unfortunate to see. He was obviously trying to protect his guys, and he obviously used language that we cannot use, and isn't something that you want to associate with the league, especially a league that's inclusive. So you could see that happening as well. And it was just a madhouse, and it wasn't the greatest of days for the Argos. Obviously, if we would have won, it would have been a different story. But that's the way it goes. I thought the team that played a complete game that day deserved to win.
Yeah. Hey, we only got 60 seconds, but I got to ask you this. Did Tim White conceding the single with 2 minutes to go in the Grey Cup cost the Ticats the win?
It's tough to say, because I don't know if he was instructed to do that. It looked like he was instructed to do it. He didn't look like he was acting on his own. So I wouldn't say he cost, whoever told him to, cost him the Grey Cup, because you never want to give up points. You never want to, especially because obviously the wind was unbelievable, and you could see why they'd want the field position, and they hadn't been moving the ball the whole entire time. But you never want to give up points. I personally, if I was on the team, I would have hated it. I would have been upset, because you looked at the end result, and sometimes we play the end result too much. But in that kind of situation, you never want to give up points. You would trust your team to get those yards and kick the game-winning field goal.
For sure. Natey, thanks for this. It's been awesome. A short time, but a great time. Have a great weekend, and let's do it again soon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy your birthday. It's birthday week, Rod. Enjoy the entire week.
You got it. I plan on it. Thank you. I will. Natey Adjei of TSN joining us from Toronto. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.